friends, I hope you're ready to learn about some shoujo manga that's not necessarily licensed in English, but don't worry, we'll be talking about English stuff too, like anime, of course manga, because we do have one manga license, but man, I'm really excited to talk about this little bit of news here. Hello friends, happy Monday. So very excited that you're here. So excited for is it a new month? Yeah, we did a manga news video last week. I was like, man, it's already a week into November and it sort of took me by surprise there. So don't mind me. But one great thing about November starting is we had a new Magical Girl Dandelion chapter and I was so very excited for that. It was fantastic. I really love how we had all this high stakes stuff coming on, that with this new arc, I mean, you can definitely tell there's some danger, there's gonna be some scary things. This last chapter, so relaxing. Until we got to the end. And I said, I'm questioning everything I just read. Like, what is real? What is not real? Was this reality? What went down? I've got a lot of questions and I need the next chapter to answer those questions because, yeah, it was really fun. And it was just chill. And I'm like, everybody's having a great time just being themselves. And then when they have their magical girl moments, I'm like, they're slaying, they're looking really cool. And it was awesome. And then the end made me question what just happened. And what just happened, was it what really happened? I think that's about the non-spoiler version I can give of that, but it was good. I think they said November 19th is when we get the next chapter, and I am looking forward to it. I'm really excited. And of course, this past Wednesday, Crossed Hearts had their guessing game, and while they didn't specify in the actual post, they did call us detectives this week, though. I was like, is that a clue? Because you call us detectives twice, I believe. But they did confirm, because I asked them, I said, hey, is this a manhwa license? And they did say yes, and based off of the image that they have here, or this collage, I really didn't know. So I did a random guess of Roxana. It is a manhwa, I believe, that is available on Tapas. It is on hiatus. I've never read this series. From what I looked up, I do think it has maybe a little bit of villainous vibes. I felt like the collage definitely had the butterfly motif. Not sure about the royalty, but there seems to be siblings in the Roxana manhwa, and based off the collage, I'm like, are those siblings? I'm not really sure. So that was my best guess that I had. I did see some new guesses since I put mine, so I am very curious of what they're going to be announcing this upcoming Wednesday. Going to be really looking forward to it. And also, Seven Seas, they gave us a new shoujo this past week, and they announced Uesugi-kun wants to quit being a girl. Now, on Bookwalker, and I shared on Twitter at least, that volume 1 was free to read, and I, quote unquote, read through it, and it was super cute. It's about a young boy who I guess is very petite, very pretty, and his female best friend, or female friend, who he has a crush on, he overhears her telling her friends that wouldn't he just be the cutest if he was a girl. And so I guess he ends up going to a shrine later that day. He prays, and I don't know what he prayed, but when he left the shrine, or when his eyes opened, he was a girl. Obviously, I'm assuming what he prayed for was probably not that, because his expressions were so shocked. And I thought it very unique that, like, obviously, if he's been turned to a girl, what's he gonna do when he comes home? And when he came home, thankfully, he was able to convey to his mom that this is his son, now daughter. It's interesting seeing some of the family shenanigans. I liked how it was portrayed, it seems very well, of, in this case, you know, suddenly became a girl and you've been acting like a guy all this time, of how you can't go running in skirts, you can't go jumping off of balconies in skirts, because you're gonna be flashing people. And so I appreciate the small little details of it. Not quite sure if I'm gonna be picking it up, but I can say the art is so cute, and I deeply enjoyed my time reading through that first volume. But if you have not really been seeing anything for you for a while, or just recently, or maybe you have, but you're like, hey, Seven Seas coming clutch once again. Seven Seas is doing their November reader survey, and let me tell you, friends, I have been influenced by my wonderful friend Bean Queenie, because I've said for months now that I fell into a situationship with the Vampire Count. Still deeply love this series. Just read the latest chapter. So good. I'm thriving. I really wish we did have it physically printed in English, but my friend Being Queenie tagged me in a post, and it was funny because that morning when I was not fully awake, I saw the cover and I said, oh, so I'm here for this. I'm just gonna bookmark it and I'll come back later too if I think about it. But she actually took some screenshots of the first chapter on whatever Japanese reading website she went to, and I said, yes, I need it. I'm sold. And that is the Chronicles of Linda. Y'all, look at this art. It is awesome. Now, I will say right away, part of what made me want to try this or look into it is because it seems to have a biracial relationship, and I have said it in previous videos that that is something I love in manga. That is an almost instant buy for me at that point, especially now this isn't a shoujo, this is a seinen manga in the afternoon magazine, but the art, incredible. It seems to be about a young woman, which, well, I guess she sort of says here, she's a young noble woman, and she's traveling with her father, and she's gonna go to this land that I guess has things going on. And when I was looking through chapter 1, it seems like these, I don't know, I don't want to say fish creatures, but I mean they look like fish made out of bones, and they're flying through the sky, as this one screenshot shows here, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Now, I will just warn for those who are interested in this, it does seem to have an age gap, so if you're not a fan of that, just as an FYI, I don't know if anything comes from it. I can't remember if the tags on Baka updates marked it as one, but your girl's definitely going to be shipping because I really like this silent archer. Like, he seems really cool. The female lead sounds great. So yeah, surprise to me, I'm going to be requesting a seinen, and if that was not it, now it's going to be a hot minute before I actually have this video up. So this morning, I'm trying to get it up because I didn't think to get it up before now. So this morning I actually did a video filming, hey, I'm updating my license wish list for 2026. That video is going to be going live in December during my 25 Days of Shoujo Manga event. And this morning I happened to come across this. It's not a manhwa, but it's not necessarily a manga either because it's fully colored and it's in the like scrolling format, and that's Contract with the Grim Reaper for 3 years. So I put this in the other category that the 7C survey has because y'all, I was hooked. It's been a little bit since I have found something like this where I'm like, I must read it. I did so much research on it this morning, and I'm not really a big fan of like the whole Grim Reaper thing. Like, I've tried Bride of the Death God and didn't really connect with it. Good series, just not personally for me. I was very surprised how much I actually like this Grim Reaper, and it was conveyed in the images I saw. I felt like I really liked him. He seems like a really great time, and so I'm like, please now, this is one that I need. It's not, again, technically a manga and not a manhwa. I just put it in the other category. So yeah, those are my two. So one shoujo say and one seinen, which was really surprising to me. And just continuing that theme or that trend here, I also finally started reading The Noble Student and His Cinderella on K manga. I have been very intrigued and interested in this series since I first found out about it, before it even went on K manga, and I was overjoyed it went on there. But you know, tickets, well, not necessarily tickets, but points are hard to come by on K manga. We treat that very like little treasures, those little points that we get, you know what I'm saying? So I try and only stick to a few series, but recently K manga was advertising it, and I said, you know what? It's time. And I have binge read, as of right now, I think it's like 18 chapters, and I've loved it so much. Hate the censorship. That has been very frustrating because the way the censorship is, it makes the panels seem a whole lot worse, because a friend of mine who has the volumes actually sent photos of what it really looks like. And apparently, my friends, we don't need to be showing any bare shoulders yet, because that needs to be censored now. So if you see that in manga, you need to put that black box on. We don't do shoulders here. No. So yeah, that was rather interesting because I'm like, I thought there was going to be something else, but it's literally just her shoulder. But anyway, I bring this up because in Kodansha's Gachi Manga Fair of 2025, it actually won in the Reader's Choice Young Manga category. And I was like, yes, now I'm hoping that is a sign for any of these publishers to pick it up, because it's already been highly recommended by the creator of My Happy Marriage. I'm like, okay, that should be some proof here, publishers, that you're looking, and now that it has been nominated for this, and I feel like this, I can't remember if it's set in the Taisho era. Hold on, I have it up on K manga. Let me see. It is, yes, it's in the Taisho period. And I feel like manga that we've recently had during this era are doing really well. So I'm like, surely one of you publishers want a piece of that pie and, you know, give it to us readers, because I would gladly, absolutely pick it up, because Fuki, the main female lead, is so relatable. I love her so much. She's precious. I mean, both the married couple here, they're precious little beings, and it really touches touched my heart. So I wanted to share that little bit of news with you, because if you're like me and you've been hoping that we'll get a physical license, then hopefully that time will be sooner rather than later. Now, the manga thing that I was hinting at the beginning is the Digital Comics Award of 2026. This is an award that takes place, or a voting thing that takes place on C-Coma. And so I wanted to talk about the Shoujo category, or the female category, as the translator is telling me that it is, because if we look here, 3 out of the 5 we actually have. So I'm not going to go through all of this or anything, because there are several that I'll just say for the different category that I fell into a situation with the vampire count, it is in the top 5, and I was really, really excited. So I'm like, please, please, because if you go to, I didn't click on different, but for the female category, the past 3 years, we have gotten those manga in English. Last year was To Sir With Love, I'm Divorcing You. We have that physically in print now by Yen Press, the manga and the light novel. The year before that was Firefly Wedding, which was digital only. It was on Anime Key. Now we have that in print by Viz Media / Shoujo Beat. The year before that was The Ogre's Bride, which we have digitally in English. I would not be surprised if we get physically in English by somebody, because we do have her, I'm blanking on the name of it, but we do have one of her other works physically in English. But The Ogre's Bride is on Manga Plaza digitally, and we have an anime coming of that next year. So I feel like there's some chances, hopefully I ain't being Delulu chances here, but there's some chances that we can get it. So let's look at the top 5. So this first one, we actually already have physically licensed in English by Kodansha. It was announced this past year. Very excited. It was not on my physical license wish list, but it was on like my backup, because a friend of mine, Phantom, had introduced to me. And that's perfectly fine on my own, so my fiance can twist in the wind. Since I've gotten used to being alone, I'm ignoring my fiance. So it's about a young woman, honestly that title sort of gives it all away, but it's about a young woman who has been engaged to this guy, and he is just not paying any attention to her. Like I think the blur mentions she constantly is getting her heart broken by him, and he is just sort of putting all of his time and energy into, I think it was like his childhood friend, and who is the princess. And so rather than continuing this cycle of getting her heart broken over and over, she decides, well, you know, I can't change my situation. I'm still engaged to this man. I guess she can't break up with him for whatever reason, but she's like, I can go do things on my own. So she goes, and that's exactly what she does. She starts doing things on her own, and he is like, quickly seems to notice, which is odd to me, because I'm like, did you not realize how you were treating your fiance before that? Like, that she's not going to be okay with you going off, spending time with somebody else, another female for that matter, and be like totally okay with it. I do have volume 1 already pre-ordered of this, and I already have volumes 2. I can't remember if volume 3 is up for pre-order yet, but I definitely have them on my list if so, because I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to see what's to come. Now, this one we don't have in English, and I actually called this one, my friend Fire, that this is her unlicensed shoujo faves, and that is Koi Suru Lipton. And this manga is so beautiful. I meant to mention that for the voting of this, it ends at the end of the month on the 30th. I'm pretty sure, yeah, if you're interested in any of these, go check them out, because you can go check it out for free. But this manga is absolutely beautiful. It seems to be about a young woman who, bless her heart, doesn't really know how to do makeup. And, you know, I can't say anything because I can't do makeup, but it was pretty jarring, because there's this really lighthearted airiness to the art, and then you flip the page and it's like, girl, what have you done? What have you done? And I mean, it was funny though. It was funny. But she ends up somehow getting lipstick on the male lead shirt, and I guess he tells her, hey, take the shirt and throw it away, at least based off this little blurb here kind of thing. And I was like, oh, okay. I've definitely seen a lot of art of this since my friend Fire does like it, and whenever I see it, I share it on my server, because I always think of her, and I honestly, reading what I have of it, I totally see why she wants it. The characters seem very, very interesting, and I truly hope that it gets picked up in English. Again, I'm embracing my inner Delulu self here, thinking that these other 2 that we don't have will get picked up. The next one we already have in English. We have, what, 3 volumes out right now, with volume 4 coming out next month, I believe, and that's Fall in Love, You False Angels, a very, very popular series. I actually have a first impression on this channel. I'm not going to link it though, because I admitted in that review that I wasn't super fond of it. I didn't want the romance, and then my friend actually shared a spoiler, though she had it hidden, and I clicked on it on Discord, so that you can you have to click it before you see it. And I said, okay, I'm ready to come back. And I read volume 2 all on K Manga. Later that day, I went ahead and bought the physical volumes. No regrets, because volume 3 was my favorite. Very, very good. But it's about a young woman, Otogi is her name, that she is called Heartthrob Angel, and her angel self doesn't really match her real self and how she acts, how she thinks. The male lead, Toki, that she ends up seeing his real self because they come across as two very perfect, wonderful people, and they are wonderful characters, but they got a hidden side. They got a hidden side to them, okay? And at first, I really didn't like that about Otogi's character. I was like, girl, I don't want that. But her falling in love, that was her downfall, but that was also what I needed to see her be less than perfect, because that's the best part, is seeing her, if at least for me, that was my favorite part, of seeing her be her real self. And this next one, I am so hopeful that we're gonna see physical license for this. My friend Being Queenie once again influenced me, and that is called The Princess Groom. We actually have this in English, digital only, on Manga Plaza. She tagged me a while back of, hey, you can, was it the first 3 chapters on Manga Plaza that you can read for free? And it was good. It was really good. It's about a young woman who is sort of, my impression was she's sort of dainty. She's treated like a doll, but the girl, when she was talking to her parents, another character that is hiding her real self, she was so different. She was very, I think the blur mentions that she acts more like a knight than she does a damsel. And yes, because she's engaged to, I think he's probably like the second prince, and he has red eyes and black hair, and these are considered bad omens for like the country, so people are not fond of him, and he's got these bad rumors about him. That she's just over here in her mind. She keeps very quiet and just smiles, her very sweet, innocent like smile. She's gonna get to the bottom of this with her fiance, of finding out who he really is. The thing is I don't necessarily want to give the twist away. I think you see at the end of chapter 3. But I will just say the English title that they went with, I think fits very perfectly for this manga. If it were to get picked up physically, I would not be mad. I would not be mad. I really have debated putting it on my license wish list. It's on my backup one though, because the art's beautiful. I really like the characters. The female lead is fantastic, and I loved it. It's great. Again, another one that I could totally see why it is in the top 5 and feels rightfully deserved. And then last but not least, I'm going to be saying the English title for this one because the Japanese title is pretty long, and I do not feel confident that I could tell you that. So according to Baka Updates, an associated name of this title is an incompetent woman wants to be a villainess. The daughter who married as a substitute for her stepsister didn't notice the Duke's doting. I was very excited to see that this is a manga that happens at Flo's Comic, which is a magazine I really, really enjoy. It's very rare. No, there's been 2 different series, unfortunately, I think I've dropped that we got in English that are from Flo's Comic. If I know it's in Flo's Comic, then I always check it out because it's just a magazine that fits my cup of tea very perfectly. And I feel like the title of this also really gives it away from, based off of the blurb here, is that she's got a sister-in-law is what it says. And basically her sister-in-law is engaged or has to marry the bad Duke. And of course she doesn't want to. She wants to live her life outside of that. So since her and her sister-in-law, like the female lead, they look the same, I guess, their family forces the female lead to be a substitute to marry this Duke. And I guess this Duke has heard rumors of her or something like that, but I really love how it says that she's going to play the role of a bad girl with gusto. And do what she can, because I think there was like, they were mentioning that she just got to be married to him for 3 years and then she can do whatever she wants after that. And she feels that's her perfect out, her perfect escape, and is all for it. But of course, you know, and I know that Duke's gonna fall for her and she ain't gonna be leaving in 3 years or however many years it is. Feels like a fun series. I think it's 3 volumes and ongoing for that. Yes, I'm interested and curious to see what is going to win out of this. I definitely need to go on some, my own time sometime, even though I just made my license wish list for 2026, and go look at these other titles and see what I want to add to my own. But let's go ahead and talk about those anime that are coming in English, so we can all appreciate those things and we don't have to go buy Japanese volumes to appreciate the story, even though there's nothing wrong with that. But it is nice when you're like, okay, thank you, this is gonna be in English, and don't have to like double dip unless you purposely want to. Hopefully that makes sense there, because Taemin's V-side, we got a new key visual and I am obsessed with it. I love the pink, I love the faces. Our girl Uda looks fantastic. Taemin, everybody looks so good, and I'm so excited. And I love how we see the B-side of these characters, of these personalities, up in the upper left-hand corner. It just looks so good. It just looks so good. And I love how it did confirm they're going to be doing the opening and the closing song. They also confirmed it is going to be airing in January. And I think it's going to be a very, very wonderful time. I'm super stoked for it. Same as this other one, not a new key visual, but they did confirm the Dark Moon account for the anime. They confirmed it's going to be airing in January 2026 as well. And I need to get up on my reread because I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I really have enjoyed the manhwa. It was one that I just didn't expect to get so hooked on and so invested in. I'm excited that we just have that confirmation of like, hey, this is coming. But this next one, we did get a new key visual, but we did not get a confirmation of what month it's coming. We just know it's coming in 2026, and that is an observation log of my fiance who calls herself a villainess. I love this key visual. I read the first 3 chapters of the manga of this. I loved it. It's on my physical license wish list. We do have it available digitally. It is just such a fun series, or it seems to be anyway, and I'm excited to see what this villainess is going to do, where she's just like, I'm going to do everything I can to embrace this villainess so that you can be with the heroine and everything goes according to plan. But of course, nothing ever goes according to plan. And I always love that. I mean, I feel like that's like the highlight of why we read these villainous and watch these villainous stories, to see how the story's going to change. And this is one, definitely can't wait to just see what's going to happen and how it's going to be animated. The big anime news for me though was always a catch. Yes, I love this manga so much. We have a new key visual. Maria looks awesome. I love with her flower brass knuckles. Yes. Now, people have compared this to May I Ask for One Final Thing, saying it's a knockoff of that. Please don't. They're 2 different series. Yes. Now, if you like some punchy heroines, they are the same. I think they would be pretty good. They'd be vibing and have a good friendship together. But Maria is so energetic compared to Scarlet. There's a lot of humor in this. So if you like punchy heroines, lots of humor, I highly suggest checking it out. And we did also have a PV, and I thought it was so fantastic. Everybody looks really good. Everybody sounds good. If you're not familiar with the story, it is about a young woman who is basically raised as the heir until her father has a son. And he's like, time for you to go get married. She's got like 4 or 5 sisters before her, and she wants to follow her father's wishes. She tries to find a husband in her own country, but everybody knows how she is and how she's so tomboyish. She can fight well, and she's very strong, and she's just not very, some people would say she's not very feminine or graceful. And so she ends up going to live with her cousin in another country, and when she goes on the day of like her debut, so to speak, the prince comes up to her and breaks off their engagement. They're not even engaged. He broke up with the wrong woman, her cousin. She tells him, you need to get your eyes checked. And he was so taken aback how Maria reacts that he ends up falling for her and wants to get to know her better. So it's these really hilarious shenanigans that unfold. The romance is slow burn, not too slow burn. It's very sweet, very fun, very precious. I love it, love it, love it so very much. I don't know if I said it earlier, but I do have a first impression on this channel. It's a series I can't get enough of, and I'm so stoked that more people are going to be introduced to the series by way of the anime. I think it's going to be awesome. It looks good, and I have high hopes and high expectations for this story. Another PV that we got was In the Clear Moonlit Dusk, and I was very disappointed by how much discourse is happening. Everybody has a right to their opinion and to their criticisms, but I will say I was afraid to admit online that I thought the trailer looked really good. In fact, it made me want to come back to the manga because I love how Yoi's voice sounds. It is perfect. It really, I don't know, hearing her speak, I feel like just brought something to life for me with the manga. And I'm like, man, I really want to come back and try it. And I don't think the anime looks bad. yes, it looks a little bit different from the manga, but not like, oh, that's gross, or that's nasty, or that's just not even the same characters. I definitely didn't feel that way at all. You know, again, I know that's not going to be everybody, but I'm personally really excited for this. I truly hope it will be an amazing animation production. This is by the same production company or anime studio, excuse me, that did A Condition Called Love, and people had strong reservations, rightfully so. I didn't personally actually watch A Condition Called Love, but my husband did, and he really liked it. I was very excited. I sort of didn't get much work that done because I was sort of watching it alongside him a little. But yeah, it seems like there's going to be actual more animation and not like still shots that some people have said that happen with A Condition Called Love. So yeah, I think it looks good, and honestly, it's just the voice acting that has me most excited for this anime. And for our last little bit of anime news, Hanakemi got a new PV and it looks fantastic as well. I have not read this story. I'm not really familiar with it or anything. I do know it's what, a gender bender of sorts, because I believe she goes to an all-guys school and she has to hide that she's a girl, so she cuts her hair, disguises as a boy, and both of the male leads, because I believe this is a love triangle, I think, I'm not really sure. I got that impression though from friends who've read the manga, but they both seem really great, and I was like, I think somebody said there's like the loner type, the black-haired guy, and then you have like the funny, humorous one who has the blonde hair, and I said, oh, those are good tropes right there. So yeah, she seems like a really upbeat heroine. I think they confirmed, yeah, this is also going to be coming out in January. I feel like this winter season has been stacked for shoujo, and it's going to be stacked again coming up next season. So lots of things to look forward to, but I do have one magazine cover reveal for you today. I sort of debated putting it at the beginning, but decided not to, and I'm not familiar with this magazine, but listen, if you're a fan of Thief Jean, or you read the manga, I read it I think a few months ago, and I loved it. It was so good. I've still debated about physically getting it, but look at this magazine cover. Look how amazing they look. Oh my gosh. I was like, I'm gonna print out the cover here. I mean, I would love to physically get it because it comes with a card or cards. I don't know, but there's 16 different collaboration cards of 16 male figures from different ribbon series, and I'm like, I want it. I don't even know who all these guy characters are, honestly, but just the magazine cover, I think it's just so beautiful and very special, and I'm just like, why do tariffs have to be a thing right now? You know what I'm saying? Why are they gonna be a thing? Nobody wants them to be a thing. They need to go away. But because this is a very beautiful and stunning cover, if you know of a way, or if you know if it comes with one of the 16 cards or all the 16 cards, please do not hesitate to let me know, because I really want to get it. I really want to get it. So yes, that is all the news I have for you today, friends. Really hope you enjoyed today's video. I have the 5 manga that we talked about earlier for the Digital Comics Award. Which of those seem most interesting to you? Let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!